All coincidences with real people are random. If they tell you that this is not the case, ignore them. T'Challa, the Black Panther and King of Wakanda, stood at the edge of a cliff, watching the sunrise over his lands. Wakanda flourished. Its technologies and culture were a beacon to the world. But T'Challa couldn't shake a strange feeling that something dark and ancient had begun to stir. It was like a whisper in the wind, an invisible presence slipping into his consciousness, filling his mind with unease. In recent weeks, people had begun disappearing in the depths of the Wakandan jungles. First it was hunters, then entire families. The few who returned spoke of strange shadows moving among the trees and eerie voices calling their names. They described a sense of dread that gripped them to the core, as if the forest itself was alive and trying to lure them deeper. One day, an old priestess, ancient as Wakanda itself, came to T'Challa. Her eyes were clouded with age, but her words were clear. "You must know, my king, this is an ancient evil, a curse of the ancestors, when your forefather, the first Black Panther, made a pact with the spirits. He awakened not only power but also darkness. The spirits of the dark want their due. They want to claim Wakanda." T'Challa took her words seriously. The curses of the ancestors had always been part of their history, but no one thought they could return. However, the disappearances, the fear in his people's eyes, and the strange presence he felt even in his stronghold spoke of the awakening of true evil. T'Challa decided to venture deep into the jungle, to the place the priestess called sacred. It was an ancient temple built by his ancestors centuries ago. He knew that within its walls lay the secret of the curse. Donning his Black Panther suit, he activated its protective technologies and set off. As he journeyed deeper into the jungle, the air grew heavier, more sinister. The forest around him changed. The trees seemed taller, more twisted, their branches reaching for him like skeletal hands. The shadows thickened, and even the sun seemed powerless against the darkness. When he reached the ancient temple, his heart sank. The temple was surrounded by statues, carved from stone, depicting the ancestors of Wakanda in grotesque poses, as if they were suffering or begging for mercy. These statues, he knew, were made to imprison the curse. T'Challa entered the temple, and there, among the ruins, he saw an ancient tomb. On it were engraved words that he read aloud. "Those who awaken the spirit of darkness will become its slaves." It was a warning, but the curse had already been unleashed. No sooner had T'Challa read the inscription than the temple filled with ominous sounds. From the shadows, figures began to emerge as ancestors. But these were not the noble kings and warriors of legend. These spirits were twisted, their faces contorted with malice and hatred. They whispered his name, surrounding him, and with each step, the darkness grew thicker. "You are the last," T'Challa boomed, one voice like thunder. "You are the one who will bring the end to Wakanda." The spirits lunged at him, their touch cold as death. T'Challa fought, but his blows could not touch them. They were intangible, their powers beyond his understanding. He realized that the power of the Black Panther would not help him here. His suit glowed as he activated its defensive mechanisms, but nothing happened. Wakanda's technology, which had always saved him, was useless against this ancient magic. T'Challa began to understand the horrible truth: his fate was sealed. The curse could not be stopped. This was not a battle with a physical enemy, it was a battle for his soul. The spirits of the ancestors, consumed with rage, surrounded him, and their whispers penetrated his mind. "Your soul will be ours," one of the ancestors whispered. "Your blood is the price for our freedom." T'Challa tried to resist, but his senses began to warp. His vision blurred, and he felt his body growing weaker. The spirits were draining his life, his soul, leaving only an empty shell. He realized that this battle had been lost long ago when his ancestors made the pact with the spirits for power. Now they had come to claim what was theirs. The Black Panther, protector of Wakanda, was now becoming a victim of the curse. When the spirits finished their work, T'Challa collapsed to his knees, feeling his consciousness slowly fade into oblivion. His body grew cold, and he knew his end was near. But this was not just the end of his life. It was the end of Wakanda. Without the Black Panther, without a king, the people of Wakanda were doomed. The curse spread, and the shadows began to engulf the entire country. T'Challa had been the last barrier holding back the darkness, and now, with his soul devoured, Wakanda was defenseless. He saw the darkness flood the forests, saw his people, unaware, being attacked by the vengeful spirits. They invaded every home, killing and consuming all life. The country he had been so proud of was turning into a wasteland. The last thing T'Challa heard before his consciousness flickered out was the sinister laughter of the ancestral spirits, who had finally exacted their revenge. Wakanda had fallen, and the Black Panther, its last protector, had been the one to open the door to this horror.